in the chat this week. Love it. No wins in the room? Oh my God, they're too busy out selling houses. Everybody that has wins? All right, give us one. Come on.
As you saw late, I think Thursday or Friday, I sent to the chat, hey, free content. China and Cheyenne both hopped in. We had a good content day, got some good shots. I'd actually been at the house the night before, so I got the dark and at night and in the morning, so it's good.
Love it. Some raw footage ready for content creation.
Absolutely.
Ah, you love to see it. Love to see it. We got a lot of content creation stuff coming out for you guys here soon. So keep your eyes open for that. What else? Any other wins? Mr. Harvey, give it to us. Yes, we're getting a little bit better. A little bit better every year. I love that little
That's I'll take it though.
That's it.
Because you don't even get a chance at overtime.
belated birthday present just for you.
We're just one step closer.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Very good.
I love it. Hope your guys' 2023 is just going even better than the Huskers. So this is good. All right, cool. Any wins in the chat? Anything we need to go over?
Nothing.
Beautiful. All right. In the spirit of starting this week off the right way on Monday, I want to invite you guys to pull out your goals, put them in front of you. If you got them on your phone, if you got them on written down, if you got them laid up somewhere, pull those things out, put them in front of you where you can see them, touch them, feel them, look at them. It's monumentally important. Every single week you take some time to remind yourself of why you got out of bed. I mean, look outside right now. This is the perfect kind of day for people to sleep in, knowing it's a holiday week. It's going to be a short week. And yet you got out of bed. Separation season is in full swing because every parking lot you drive by, especially real estate offices, are going to be completely empty. Okay, so take a second, look at your goals, review those goals that are right in front of you. And before you write down some commitments this week, I want to just have a little bit of a conversation with you. So in your efforts to do anything in your life, there are two main factors that are going on inside of you that are going to dictate your kind of results. Okay. The first thing is your strategy. What are you going to do in order to obtain the results that you're after? Okay. And the second thing is your psychology, the way that you think. Okay. I want to say that again because I want to make sure you guys understand that there are two major factors that are determining your results right now, which is one, your strategy, and two, your psychology. Okay, and those of you guys who've been in the game long enough understand that your psychology dictates about 80% of your results, and your strategy is only dictating about 20% of the things that you actually get. So if psychology has that much impact on what it is you're getting right now in your life, my question to you is, what are you doing in order to make sure your psychology is going in the right direction? What actions are you taking to push yourself in the right direction? Because when you really think about it, there's a psychology to money. There's a psychology to whether or not you're going to ask somebody on the phone for an appointment. There's a psychology to your ability to close 20 deals a year and get stumped trying to get to 30. The whole ball game, there's a psychology to whether or not you get up in the morning and you work out. To whether you come home and you pay attention to your family, or you come home and you're on social media for the next 10 hours. The whole ball game is psychology. And I want to just take a second this morning for you to acknowledge that if psychology is that much of a factor in your results, what specifically are you doing in order to improve your psychology? So this week, as we're making commitments, I want to challenge you to make some commitments around your psychology. What specifically can you do about the way you think this week in order to make sure you are moving yourself closer to your goals? Because this is a week where you're not going to be able to take as much action because of the holidays, because of your respect for people on Thursday and maybe Friday. And because of that, what can you do to continue to move forward even in those days where you can't take as much action? Okay, and we teach 3 ways for you to improve your psychology. The first is what we call shock therapy. Okay, you do something in a short amount of time that you've never done before in order to prove to your brain once and for all, this thing is possible. There's no more need for doubt. There's no more reason that things are in my way. You do something in a short amount of time. You make a certain amount of money in a short amount of time. You prove to your brain once and for all, it is possible. Okay, the second thing that you can do to improve your psychology is to be around other people who are vibrating on a higher frequency than you. Because here's the truth, if you are the sum of the 5 people that you hang out with, when you hang out with somebody who's vibrating higher than you heat up somewhere between you and them. And when you hang out with people who are vibrating on a lower frequency than you, it's important that you understand this, especially as we're going into Thanksgiving, and you're going to hang out with your crazy cousins.
Right.
And the uncle who thinks the world is a hexagon. It's not flat, nor is it a sphere. Okay? Monumentally important that you understand, whoever you're hanging out with, you're going to vibrate somewhere between your frequency and theirs. You might want to be intentional about who you are spending time around. Okay, and last but not least, the last way that you can affect your psychology is through repetition. So in front of you, I see a lot of examples of the Meraki Mindset Journal in front of you, and the way that you can convince your mind of what is possible or not possible, what is real for you or not real for you. What you can do and accomplish in this life is to convince yourself of the story and for you to intentionally map out what that story is every day. So when I talk about repetition, can you write out exactly what your story is going to look like in your journal every single day? Can you stand in front of the mirror 3 times a day when you wake up, when you go to lunch, and then when you go to bed, and tell yourself a story similar to those of you guys who've ever read The World's Greatest Salesman? The greatest salesman in the world. Transposition, right? Okay, and if those are the 3 ways that you can affect your psychology, and your psychology is affecting 80% of the results that you are getting right now in your life, my question to you is, what specifically can you do this week in order to make sure that your psychology is moving in the right direction? Okay, so I'm going to ask you right now to make 2 commitments, 2 things specifically that you will do this week in order to make sure that your psychology is going the right direction, even though it's a holiday week. Even though it's finally getting a little bit colder and it'd be easy for you to take a day off. No one would even know, right? No one would even know. So right now, I want you to write down 2 things, 2 specific things that you will do. You just got 3 categories in which you can take action in order to improve your psychology. But what 2 things specifically will you do this week in order to improve your psychology so that when we come back from the holiday week, you hit the ground running? You are creating momentum and you are controlling the results. And I'm going to ask you to commit to 2 things that don't depend on other people. This is not, I'm going to make $1 million this week. This is not, I'm going to sign 3 contracts, because that depends on other people. What specifically 2 things that you can control, that you can look yourself in the mirror at the end of the week and say, yes, I did, or no, I did not? 2 things that don't rely on other people, that don't rely on getting a yes. 2 things that are 100% a choice for you. And when you've got those 2 things, 2 things that will improve your psychology, I want you to find somebody close to you, and I want you to share exactly what are those 2 things that you are going to do this week. What specifically are those 2 things? And this person will hold you accountable this week to make sure you do those 2 things. Okay, talk about what are the 2 things you're committing to, and how will your partner hold you accountable? All right, so find a partner close to you. Let's do that. I'm gonna give you guys about 4 minutes to catch up on that and share exactly what it is you're gonna do this week. Make sure your mind is going the right direction. All right, find a partner. Let's do it. If you're on Zoom, get somebody on the phone, make a phone call, send a text, do the thing. I just got a call from somebody. I don't know who it is.
I'm not bringing mine out. I do like my whole.
Yes, write those 2 things down. Write them down. There is science that says when you write things down, you move yourself in the right direction. When you write things down, you are tremendously more likely to accomplish those goals. So write them down. Because what's going to happen when you write them down, you're going to feel a little bit of pressure, knowing that you just made a commitment to yourself to do something. So write them down, and then share them with somebody, because that will add another layer on top of you that will make sure that you actually follow through. This is the kind of peer pressure that you want. This is the peer pressure that will push you. Stuck where you are or where you don't want to be. Yeah. What specifically will you do? What will you avoid? When you wake up and work out, Will you avoid the news? Will you block that person on social media where that account, will you unfollow? Will you do your affirmations every day? Will you do your journal every single day? Can you commit to reminding yourself of why you get out of bed every day? What's it gonna be? What are those things? What specifically will you do? Will you practice? Will you commit? I will learn 100%. I will memorize this script, whatever that script is for you. I don't know what it is for you, but whatever that script is, will you memorize it this week in order to make sure you're going in the right direction? What is that thing? Whatever it is, whoever your accountability partner is, ask them what is their thing.
And
If you see somebody who's not in the chat, text them and make sure you have them, hold them accountable. Because the more people you hold accountable, it will push you to actually follow through. This is the peer pressure that you want. This is the pressure that you need in order to get to the next level, ladies and gentlemen. Lock in. What do you need? All right, ladies and gentlemen, you got about one more minute. About one more minute.
so, yeah.
60 seconds, 60 seconds. Yeah, today we will talk about that. For sure. I love that. Thank you. That's right on time.
You'll know.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, is everybody very clear on the things that you are committing to doing this week in order to make sure you're moving in the right direction? And I love this activity of commitments because every single week you come in here, you just inch yourself just a little bit closer to your goals, just a little bit at a time, and before you know it, by the end of the year, you've got lots of things that you didn't have to start the year. You've got a completely different life than you had at the beginning of the year. Okay, so this month, anybody remember what we're talking about this month in role play? Expired listings, absolutely. Last week I introduced a topic to you called landmines. Does anybody remember what landmines are? What are landmines?
Landmines are unforeseen explosives.
Yeah,
Client gives you a question that you don't really know the answer to.
100%. Landmines are the little places where I want you to understand there's a difference between landmines and objections here. Landmines are the places where you step And because you didn't see it coming, it blows up in your face, okay? On the board right here are a list of the landmines that you might find in your script when you find yourself asking questions of a potential client of an expired seller, okay? Number one, you come right out of the gate and you say, is this Jack Harvey? And they say, nope, it ain't. That's a landmine, right? If you're not ready for that, that could blow up in your face. And Paige gave us the answer to this one. How do you deal with this one?
Say, well, meet you, Jack. Are you one of the owners of 123 Main Street?
Yeah, if this isn't Jack, I'm looking for the owner of 3 Main Street. Whatever your name is, anonymous voice over the phone. Hi, I'm looking for the owner of 123 Main Street. Do you know who that is? Do you know where that guy is? Oh, is that you? Great, let's talk about this. Okay. Number 3, another landmine. Okay, let our real estate agents get stuck here because number 3 is the part where you're revealing what could be an inconvenient truth to somebody, right? Hi, I'm just calling to confirm that your house is off the market. Is that correct? No, it's not off the market. Are you sure? Okay, real estate agent, this is landmine because we get stuck here. Okay, we don't have to sit here and belabor this point. Okay, the house is off the market, whether they know it or not. This is just a temperature question to find out, do they know? Because whether you know it or not, your house is currently off the market. Okay, so number 3, the landmine there is don't get stuck trying to convince them that their house is off the market. Whatever they say is okay. We're gonna keep it moving. Okay, number 4. Number 4 is a place where we as real estate agents have a lot of concern. We have a lot of limiting beliefs around whether or not we're allowed to talk to people about their pain. Are you allowed to talk to people who are in pain about their pain? Absolutely. Okay, people who are very frustrated with their agent, who are very angry with the process, who did not have a good experience listing their property. This is what we call a golden opportunity for 2 reasons. 1, because if you are the person that they are venting to, there is a level of trust that now exists between you and I because you listen to me vent. You let me get this off my chest. Okay. The second piece is when people are venting to you about something that went poorly, that did not go well, they are now giving you all of the answers to what would help them make it go well or would help them think that it went well. They're giving you all the answers, all the things that you would have to do as their agent in order to make sure that they are extremely happy with the process. Okay. We talked about number 5. Number 5 was a landmine we were nervous about because number 5, we mentioned the word offers. Would you still consider an offer or would you still consider moving if you got an offer that made sense? Okay. Immediately we are concerned that that leads sellers to say what? Yeah, you got an offer for me? Yeah, we talked about this one. The skill that we were working on last week. ARPing, an agreeable response. You know, that would probably make both of our jobs easy, wouldn't it? Right? An agreeable response, something easy to agree with. A relevant reply. No, I don't have an offer for you. And then you must pivot immediately to a question. But let me ask you this. If you did happen to have that offer, are you guys still planning on moving? Okay. Pivoting to a question might just be rephrasing exactly what we've already been talking about. But I want to just make sure that you guys understand the skill there. An agreeable response. Well, that would make both our jobs super easy, wouldn't it? And you wouldn't even have to be on the phone for the next 3 hours with all these other real estate agents. I don't have an offer for you, but let me ask, if you got one, would it make sense for you to continue or for you to move this year still? Okay. And then number 9, agents get really, really nervous about this close because in this close, you say, I'm going to bring you some new information that'll actually cause your home to sell. And then from there, you can do whatever makes the most sense for you moving forward. What's the part about this that's a landmine? Yeah, what's the new information that I'm supposed to bring you? Does anybody remember what the new information is? The truth. Okay. This new information is not some magical thing that you just made up. It's new information to them because they haven't heard this before. They haven't heard the truth of what it would take to get their home sold. Okay. That is your job to go over there and explain the truth because you might find out once they actually know the truth, this might not be the right time for them to sell. And now you have the opportunity to build a relationship that will lead to 5 or 10 more deals in the life of your career because you went over there and actually told them the truth of what it would take. Okay. So these are the landmines we talked about. Now, these are landmines because again, you are introducing this with your line of questioning. You are stepping on something that could blow up in your face. Okay. You now know how to tackle all these. So these are not landmines. that will blow up on you. This week, I want to make sure we also practice some objections. What are some of the objections that happen with expired listings? We're talking over the phone, not in the appointment yet. These are over the phone. Anybody know some of the objections? They're the same objections you hear in everything. Anybody know what some of the objections you hear in real estate?
We're not ready yet.
We're not ready. Yeah, we're not ready. We don't want to meet. I don't want to meet with you. I don't trust you. I don't know who you are. Any version of I don't want to meet with you. Yes. What are the other ones? I already have an agent. Yes, absolutely. What else?
I think this time of year it's snow, it's cold, we're able to do everything, so it's mentally they take a break.
Yeah, the market stinks. Yeah, the market stinks. We'll wait till spring. We want to wait, right? Another version of I don't want to meet with you yet. Yeah, absolutely. What else? Anybody ever heard a price objection? Will you do it for a lower commission? Anybody know that one? Heard that one before? Yeah, these are the objections. These are the things that they are going to throw at you. It's the same 2 or 3 objections, depending on how you look at it. 3 objections that you've got to be ready to deal with time and time again in real estate, which is, I'm not ready. I don't want to. Would you do it for a different price? These are the 3 things in real time, all the time, you've got to be ready to handle. And this week, I'm going to give you some tools and the really, really easy ways to work on this. And I promise you, it's easier than you think. Like we talked about a little bit earlier, it is 80% psychology and only 20% strategy. Okay, so I'm going to give you the words, and even if you have the words, if you don't have the psychology, you'll find yourself running into this brick wall over and over again. But I promise you, I'm going to give you the words, I'm going to give you the psychology so that this gets really, really easy for you. But I want to give you a chance to practice some of these landmines, because the techniques that you are using to avoid these landmines are the same techniques, the same psychology that will enable you to overcome these objections when they show up in your phone calls. Okay, so I want to give you a chance to role play this, and I want you, your role play partner, if you are the seller in this call, I want you to throw 1 or 2 of these landmines at your agent. And as an agent, I want you to use these tools that you see on the board, some of the things that we practice in order to overcome those things. I'm going to stop you guys. I'm going to introduce exactly the mindset that you need in order to overcome these objections. And then we'll work on the words for objections tomorrow. Okay. So I want you to get with a partner, and I want you to practice these landmines, because these landmines are the foundation for you to overcome objections. Okay. So find a partner. We're going to practice this for about 15 minutes, and then we'll come back and we'll wrap up getting ready for the mindset for objections. All right. So find a partner. Let's do this. Oh yeah, more.
I told her I grew up with a guy.
You got to convince yourself.
Yeah.
All right, we got to find some partners here. We got to partner this back row up. What are you going, Jack and Gabriella? Ben and Valdez? Is that how we're doing this? How are we doing this? No, it's not broken, but Mr. Kara. Yeah, it's all yours. Carry on, my wayward son. Go be great. What's that? The thing that fall off.
It's not, because I'm gonna steal it.
There you go. Just take the whole thing with you.
That'll work. You want it over here?
No, I think more than I'm a little bit. Well,
Yeah, I saw your available, and I know you're selling it on your own.
expires.
Let me,
We had a couple of people.
The first thing is, you didn't give me any options, you said, I'm here for you, but some options. Just show that you have opening, and then make me.
I'm calling to verify your property on the Woodbury Main. It's currently on the market.
Why don't you know? I thought it was list probably. He said it kind of started, right? Yeah.
I apologize for that, but yeah. Property
Well, I don't. I think maybe it was the price. Feel like. Do you have buyers?
No.
As opposed to no.
I think so.
Because you're gonna use like hearing the home system, either from better or
So since you're gonna stop there,
Yeah.
let's go into, he gave you.
Yeah. but we got-
He said, I can go all that.
Now you're not.
So this is an opportunity right now. What's going to talk about? This is an opportunity to kind of dig into this thing. You said from the top here, please.
Well, not getting, it's not full.
Right, but you've been getting showings or what's the activity?
I don't know, maybe we have showing. That's what my agent called me. We never even got people.
This will push.
I haven't gotten any feedback, haven't really heard from the agent.
Me and her. It was great. They kept saying, "Oh, this is, you know, like, no, I think it's all-"
Yeah, you know, it's just curious. So right there, I got some information, right? But I've got questions under it. So I could sit there and I can use the force for any kind of thing. Right, okay, so just curious, is right now still the time you plan on moving?
I mean, yeah. I don't know how. I gotta find a to figure out.
Yeah, no, I totally understand. Obviously, if you're still planning on moving, that's something that needs to be done. So where are you going to when you, when the house does sell?
Yeah, well.
It's gonna go.
Honestly.
So because it's like, I need to call my agent to see if it's like, you're never pushing something where you're like. taking all that.
I'm gonna keep going, I'm gonna keep that. Right? Because that would be.
So.
Right, so I'm gonna find out more information, let's find out where it's going, I'm gonna find out all that stuff we need to know, when they wanna move, you know, what their goals were, where they're moving to. And then once I get a little bit more of that information, I'm gonna dive right into, well, whether you decide to make this, make the move this year or not.
Certain scenarios, I don't wanna do anything.
Make a suggestion, right?
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Ready?
That being said, your constant has.
Is it Ramadan? Is it?
Yeah.
You're on recent.
I don't know. All I did was talk about web. If they don't know why, because my best conversations in there.
Yeah, so like, one of the number one thing you're asking, this person said, I don't know, they everybody's birthday, everybody, the other direction, a week from now. Here's one of those, right? So the first one, you know, we live in grades right now.
Very easy.
Let's go. Okay, if you can't, language here, especially around like number 9.
Right.
Is
The
important.
whole, I didn't.
Right now,
all that.
what
It doesn't matter at this point, because they're not actually under contract. So you can brush right over that and move on to a little more question. Get down to right the end of it, they really call the main points out, define out what they.
You know what, that makes a lot of sense.
And if you get an objection down here, you now know what it is that they expect.
Let's get together sometime next week.
So if you really need,
I'll just give you this
to say, you know,
Here we are.
you could say, you got an agent that
This year,
did X, Y,
next
Z,
year, 2 years from now.
would it make sense to sit down? Bring us
You'll
together information,
have
and
everything
work
to
with it.
make that decision for you.
If they say no to that,
Are you available?
then you can go back and say,
Excellent.
here's the things that you told me you didn't like, we have.
But you have.
And
to
again,
be correct.
would it make sense
What
for
that
us to meet?
Really
And
like.
at the end of that conversation, you.
Like, that's all that's
Same
really
questions.
I don't trust you.
They're
and I
thinking,
don't-
well, you know what, I don't wanna,
You would see that with your language.
I'm talking in 3 weeks.
Let's not agree.
Maybe in the house,
You don't know me.
maybe it.
Like, let's just get together. I'll give you the information.
Let's,
And then you can decide if you want to go.
For anybody that's online.
But then you put that number down there and I will tell you.
But
You even don't want to get you first. You even know we're gonna meet, you can figure it out. I'm not gonna ask you. to make-
right here, run your finger down along the question, look for them, so you can get into a side conversation if you need to, find alignment, you can pop right back into where you were, how to go.
Yep.
Right? So just run your finger right here, and once you got there.
Now we're gonna schedule the follow-up.
That way you can keep on that.
So, schedule it, if you can't. Hey, what's the time? Wait till December, or are we waiting till January?
Now.
Dig it.
First.
The landmines, I love a landmine.
Property on 2-3 Main.
What do you mean? It's not.
Yeah, it looks like it expired.
Yeah.
It's one. What do you know?
Sorry to hear that.
We got to do
Um,
this. Yeah, they do.
What if you think it didn't snow? No, I don't buy some. I don't know.
Wait, so, okay, what are the 4 steps?
Okay, you have.
Nope.
Question.
Most important one of all. Nope.
Where?
Listen, just get the answer. Okay, then you repeat and approve. Then you ask him a question. He asked you a question and you went, nope. You know what I mean? So instead of, my house is on the market, yeah. Like, where do we go from here? New buyer? Nope. Where do we go from here? Right? Ask the question. You can approve.
So then.
If I did that, would be cool.
And at this point, you got an offer, you have a plan to go and move it, you get an offer that makes sense.
So you're not saying it's right now. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I do.
You're asking what house.
Yeah. We could stop.
So, this is something you've done, you talked about, so it's talking about doing this, but again, I want to say. He says, I have a from my agent. And then you say, oh, I'm so sorry about that.
Right.
It's not your fault. You didn't do it.
Yeah.
Really?
So, you haven't heard from, yeah, you haven't heard from your agent in weeks, that's not. Yeah, well,
So now I just want you to try. Whatever I can recommend, no matter what I say.
Okay, whatever you say.
It sounds like, you know, it's probably the hardest part for her to now learn is this.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
All right, one more minute. So keep practicing, one more minute, we're gonna talk about this.
And the best part about it too, is that once you get into it, you start doing it, and you start putting the point to do it without even thinking, you're gonna do it. Every day. You're gonna do it to your mom, you're gonna do it to clients, you're gonna do it to your kids, like, all of it, and you use it all the time. But once you start doing it, you start noticing, people more than get it out. So let's really focus on that. We can- you can get one. So.
But you have a great property, I'm curious, what happened?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, find a good place to stop, start making your way back to your seats.
I don't know, maybe it was overpriced or something.
Find a good place to stop, start making your way back to your seat. Let's talk about it in just a second.
At this point, is the plan to switch over to get an option?
Like you give me one pie, they're like, they're not moving.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. What do you need to know in order to handle the objections of an expired listing? The number one psychology that you must understand.
Yeah. And you immediately ask me another question.
Yeah.
Maybe exactly. So you have.
What we said up there.
Okay.
That's, yeah, so.
You gotta think about it. Personally, they've never heard this stuff.
Yeah.
This is all brand new. to
That's
them.
true, that's how this.
That's it. To you, it's like robotic, because you're like, I've said this 1,000 times, but to them, they're like, yeah, who is this? First time I've ever heard it.
Why didn't this
It's funny calls.
when they say, well,
Nobody said that. Nobody's using empathy with me.
Right, fair enough.
Real estate agents, they just want their paychecks.
They were-
Gosh, they just need to learn how to negotiate
Fair enough.
their paychecks.
I'm just curious.
It should be fair.
It's good stuff. It's good. It's good language right here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, what did we notice? What did we learn? Did anybody get any better today at the expired conversation? Anybody feel like they got a little bit better at this conversation today? Good, okay. I want to introduce the mindset that you got to have if you want to, one, handle these, and two, handle the objections, okay? The number one problem that real estate agents run into in this conversation is that they decided that they are the profession. They decided that they know what's best for the person on the other end of the phone, and we are now trying to convince them that they need to do something that we think they should do. That is the number one problem that real estate agents run into, and why they get their faces kicked in when they go try to have these phone conversations with sellers. Okay, the number one thing that you've got to do in order to win when it comes to landmines, to win when it comes to objections, to win this conversation so they don't hang up on you in the first 7 seconds, is you have got to stay in alignment with the seller. That's the number one thing you've got to do. Notice we come right out of the gate with it, getting in alignment with identifying with their experience, which is, you've probably gotten tons of calls today, am I right? That's immediately you getting in alignment and not trying to convince them, hey, I'm a great real estate agent, you should hire me because that other person sucks. Right, we had a good conversation back here about if somebody says they're not ready to do something, is it okay to follow up and get that conversation in the follow-up? Of course it is. Right, this whole conversation, the entire psychology that you've got to come into this conversation with is, my job is to stay in alignment. If they say the agent was bad, they might have been. If they say the market is bad, that may be true. This is not the right time for us to decide if the market's bad or if the market's not bad. Okay, when you run into these landmines, let's say new information. What is new information? What does that even mean? How are you going to bring me some new information? That's a really good question. I think a lot of people would ask the same question in your shoes. Why don't we get together and we'll talk about it? Okay, understand, staying in alignment is the absolute key to you overcoming these landmines and overcoming all of the objections that come up. Because when people tell you they're not ready to meet, you know what? That makes a lot of sense. And we probably shouldn't meet right now. You've been through a lot over the last few months that you've been on the market. So why don't we do this? Let's get together one day next week, after the holidays. Then, once all the dust is settled, we can talk about what might make sense for you moving forward. Because you're not gonna do anything unless you have the right information. You're not gonna do anything unless it makes sense. Am I right? Okay, understand, staying in alignment is the psychology you've got to approach these people with, because you're not gonna convince anybody to do anything that they don't already want to do. Okay, so we're gonna keep getting better at this conversation. I'm gonna give you some of the words tomorrow. We're gonna come back. I'm gonna introduce some of the objections, some of the common things you're gonna hear on the phone. I've got a whole list of them on the board back here. So we're gonna keep working on that. And I just want to put on your guys' radar. You guys don't know, we have another client event coming up to close out the year. So this is our Meraki Gives Back event. Okay, this time of year, there are a lot of people who are doing much worse off than us. And we want to do our part to make sure that we're giving back. So I'm gonna let Aaliyah talk a little bit about this, just to give you guys some details. Aaliyah, do you want to introduce this a little bit and just kind of talk a little bit about it?
Sure, it's gonna be for Project Harmony, a little bit more information on them. It's gonna be kids that have not the most ideal setup for their life, whatever that looks like, whether they've been in and out of foster care or they've been in bad situations, stuff like that. So we are bringing in goods and stuff for them for their shopping day. They'll get to basically come in and walk around the room at Project Harmony and dump the items that were donated. So we are gonna have you, your friends, your family, your clients, everyone drop off donations from the 27th to the 2nd. Which will be the week after Thanksgiving. Figure people will be out for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, all the fun things. They can pick up something extra to drop off and donate for Project Harmony.
Love it, love it. And there's your opportunity to invite people to be part of something much bigger than them, to invite people to give back to a community that they're already a part of. Okay, so we want to invite our clients to have a big piece of that impact along with us, and together we'll all make a big impact for some of these kids that could have a little bit better holiday season if we all just chip in just a little bit. So more information again coming out about that, but the 27th through the 2nd, we're gonna have a week where people can come in. They can just come in, they can bring stuff. We have a whole list of items specifically of what they're looking for or what they would like us to be donating. So we'll give that line or that list to our clients. They can bring stuff in right here to KW Elite. We'll keep it all here, and then we'll take it all down to Project Harmony and donate it. And then we'll be able to let our clients know what kind of impact we were able to make this holiday season. Okay, so just a really cool way for you to stay in touch with your clients and to give them an opportunity to give back as well. Okay, so with that being said, I want to remind you it is Money Monday, specifically because this is the day where you make all your follow-up calls, all those people who are thinking about doing something, maybe doing something, maybe waiting until after the holidays. They should hear from you today. They should hear from you on this Monday. And all of your 80% of your business comes from the follow-up. So today should be a heavy follow-up day for you. Money Monday, set lots and lots of appointments. You guys have a wonderful day. We'll catch up with you guys at 11:45 for recap. Thanks for being here. And if you guys didn't get a chance to meet Mr. Anthony Valdez, thank you so much for being here. It's good to see you. Happy Monday. Money Monday. We'll see you guys later.
Money, money.